નમસ્તે, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી.
Hello students, today we are going to learn standard 7th English unit number 2nd exploring puzzles. As you know students, in unit 1st we studied exploring symbols. In that unit we discussed all things related to symbols. We see different types of symbols for different purpose. Now in unit 2nd we have to see exploring puzzles. Here we have to explore different puzzles, different games. So now let's start our unit 2nd exploring puzzle. In that unit we have to see activity number first of all. Activity first, I start from here, just keep attention. Read the story to yourself. Read the story to yourself. Mark any word you don't understand. Use a dictionary, the internet, or your classmates who may help you to understand each word and idea in the story. Now, real story started. First of all, puzzle. We have to understand the meaning of puzzle. Puzzle means what? What do you think related to puzzles? Puzzles means a game or etc. that one has to think about carefully to answer it or do it. It's a one type of game. We have to think before giving answer. It's a one type of game also. So it's known as a puzzles. You like also puzzle, I know. Now our main story, we start at it. First of all, one picture is given here. We have to read story. Emperor Akbar was a great and wise ruler, and he had fine advisors in his court. But the wisest of these was Birbal. Here we are talking about Emperor Akbar. Akbar was a great and wise ruler. You also studied about Akbar in your social science textbook. And he had fine advisors in his court. And in his court there are many fine advisor. Advisor means what? We have to understand about it. Advisor means what? Advisors means one who give advice. One who give advice, it is known as an advisor. In Gujarati we call as a salahkar. Okay, in his court. But the wisest of these was Birbal. But wisest advisor from all other, Birbal is the wisest advisor in Emperor Akbar's. Whenever the emperor thought of a difficult problem or puzzle, he turned to Birbal. Whenever the emperor thought of a difficult problem or puzzle, he turned to Birbal and asked to Birbal. One pleasant evening in March, Akbar was strolling in his courtyard. Now one incident is given here, one pleasant evening. One pleasant evening. Pleasant means enjoyable. Pleasant means here enjoyable evening. In the March month, Akbar was strolling. Strolling means what? Strolling means moving here and there in slow motion. To walk in a relaxed way, it is known as strolling. In his courtyard. Courtyard means what? Courtyard means an open space surrounding our house or our building. It is known as a courtyard. He had just completed a successful military campaign in the east, and he wanted a little amusement. Now he had just completed a successful military campaign. Military campaign means what? Military campaign means military campaign means a series of attacks and battles intended to achieve a particular military aim. It's in our simple language, it is known as a military practice in the east, and he wanted a little amusement now. He wanted a little amusement now. Amusement means fun. Okay? Now next thing. Suddenly he turned to his courtiers and said, "Tell me what should be the punishment for someone who dared to tweak your emperor's mustache." Suddenly he turned to his courtiers. Courtiers means here. Courtiers means court's member. He's a state's member. And said that, "Tell me what should be punishment for someone who dared to tweak your emperor's mustache." What punishment can I do? Who tweak to your emperor's mustache? कोई भी आदमी, इसका मतलब ये है कोई भी आदमी योर एम्पियर्स मस्टेज को छू ले और योर एम्पियर्स की मस्टेज मीन्स मूछों को छू ले. What punishment they have to do? Now next thing is that the courtiers were shocked at the thought. First of all, courtiers were shocked at the thought only the most foul criminal, a criminal would dare to touch the king. They think that only most foul criminal means very evil person, very danger criminal would dare to touch the king. Shahbaz Khan spoke up, "My lord, this villain should be mercilessly flogged to death." One of them courtiers, Shahbaz Khan, spoke, "My lord, this villain should be mercilessly means without kindness. Mercilessly means without kindness. Flogged to death. Flogged to death means what? Hitting up with a whip or stick till death. Hitting up. चाबुक से उसे मारना. Till death. It's known as a flogged to death. Can you understand, student, now? Beside beheaded in a full public view. Your honor, said Mullah do Paisa. Now second courtier give advice to king that beheaded in full public view. In a few take them to public, between public and beheaded. Beheaded means to cut off head as a punishment. Beheaded means to cut his head in a public. Your honor, said Mullah do Paisa. Can you understand till here? Now next thing we have to understand. The villains should be thrown down from the fort or be hanged there, said Shahid Shah. Now Shahid Shah courtier, named Shahid Shah courtiers give suggestion that the villain should be thrown down from the fort or be hanged. We have to thrown down that person from the fort or be hanged. उसे किले से ऊपर फेंक देना चाहिए और उसे सजा देना चाहिए, फांसी की सजा देना चाहिए. Now next, what's happened now? And you, Birbal, what punishment do you suggest for his offender? Now asked the emperor. Now Emperor Akbar asked the Birbal, said that, and you Birbal, what do? What punishment do you suggest for this offender? What punishment can you do? What for that a great person? Asked the emperor to Birbal. Shah Alam, said Birbal calmly, "I would give him some sweets." Birbal said calmly means very soft voice, very slowly said that, "Shah Alam, I would give him some sweets. I would give him some sweets. मैं उस आदमी को थोड़ी बहुत स्वीट्स दूंगा." ऐसा बोलता है. Now next thing. The other courtiers gaped at Birbal. First of all, other courtiers listening that Birbal's thing gaped at Birbal. Gaped means smile. Laughed at Birbal. Had he gone mad? Sweets for such a crime? Surely this time Birbal was wrong. Had he gone mad? Sweets for such crime? Surely this time Birbal was wrong. Other courtiers think that. Akbar frowned. Did I hear you right, Birbal? Did I hear you right, Birbal? What I listened from you, it's a right, Birbal? He said, "You consider giving sweets to be the right punishment for such a crime? You think that giving sweet to be that type of punishment is a real or not real?" "Only in this case, your majesty," said Birbal humbly. Now Birbal speak humbly, humble voice. "Only in this case, your majesty, In this case, you have to do it like that. You have to give sweet to that person, because who else but your beloved grandson would dare to take such a liberty with the king of kings? बीरबल said that because who else, दूसरा कोई ऐसी गलती नहीं कर सकता सिवा के आपका grandson means a पोता would dare to such a liberty with the kings of king. आपका पोता ही ऐसा कर सकता है, दूसरा कोई आदमी ऐसा नहीं कर सकता जो आपकी मूंछे छू सके. So we have to give sweet to that person only. Akbar burst out laughing. Now Akbar laughed with loudly. You are right again, Birbal. You are right again, Birbal. It was indeed that little rascal who tweaked my mustache this very evening. Yes, it was indeed that little rascal who tweaked my mustache this very evening. Can you understand, student, the story? Now here one match it is given. We have to do it. Match A with B and make sentences using the words given in the table. Here strolling, first word is given here. It is matched with walking in a slow, relaxed way. Dumbfounder is extremely surprised. To gauge means to look at someone in surprise with an open mouth. Insolation means rudeness. To discard means to get rid of. Outwitted means tricked someone, and smirked means smiled in an unpleasant way. You have to do it in textbook. Complete it in your textbook. Match it. After that, activity shaken. Birbal was able to solve the emperor's puzzle because he thought clearly and realistically about the emperor's question. Birbal was able to solve the emperor's puzzle because he thought clearly and realistically about the emperor's question. He did not make assumption. He did not make any assumption. Assumption means in Gujarati we say that dharana, daru. It is known as a assumption. So he did not make any assumption. An assumption is something that is believed to be true without any evidence. Without any evidence, we believe that it is true. It's one type of assumption. Sometimes making an assumption is correct. Sometimes it is correct to making assumption. For example, if your relative fall asleep very early in the evening, you might assume that he is tired, and you might be right. For example, your mother, for example, not relative but your mother, fall asleep very early in the evening. Okay? You might assume that he is tired. He or she is tired, and you might be right at that place. Your assumption is correct now. But assumption can be wrong, and they can lead us to think incorrectly about the problem. Sometimes assumption can be wrong, and they can lead us think incorrectly about the problems. About the problems we cannot think correctly. Assumption make our problems incorrectly. Okay? We cannot every time assumption is correct. Now let's see. Look at this example and answer the questions. The courtiers heard the emperor's question. Tell me, what should be the punishment for someone who dared to tweak your emperor's mustache? What did the courtiers assume? At that time, courtiers what assumes? It's a correct assumption or wrong? We have to write as an answer in your fair notebook. You have to write that answer in fair book. Answer will be given to after the video. At the end of video, I will give answer. Okay? Now next one is there. Which lines in the story help you to know what the courtiers were thinking? Here, which lines in the story help you to know what the courtiers were thinking? And from text, which lines show that courtiers thinking like that? We have to write that answer in our fair notebook. Okay, I will give it. Now, activity number 3, we have to discuss. Read this old joke. One joke is given here. A dad and his son were riding their bikes and crashed. A dad and his son were riding their bikes and crashed. Two ambulances came and took them to different hospitals. Two ambulances came and take them to different hospitals. The man's son was in the operating room, and the doctor said, I can't operate on you. You are my son. The man's son was the operating room, and the doctor said, I can't operate on you. You are my son. मैं आपके ऊपर ऑपरेशन नहीं कर सकता, आप मेरे सन है इसलिए. हाउ इज दैट पॉसिबल? हाउ इज दैट पॉसिबल? थिंक अबाउट दैट आंसर. मेक assumption related to this joke. Okay? Now, discuss the joke with your classmates. How many people guessed the reason that the surgeon could not operate in the boy? How many people guessed the reason that the surgeon could not operate on the boy? How many people could not guess? How many people guessed or how many people could not guess? How many people have heard the joke before? Again, before you listen that joke? If people do not know why the surgeon say, he is my son, what assumption are they making? What assumption? कौन सी धारणा करते होगे वो? Assumptions that are incorrect and lead us to think wrongly are called false assumption. If assumptions that are incorrect and lead us think wrongly are called as a false assumption. Keep in mind, false assumption. You have to remember. Okay? Can you understand, student? Now activity number 4 we have to do. Here one little article is given here, adapted from the Canterbury Puzzles and Other Curious Problems written by Henry Ernest Dudeny, copyright 1907. It is adapted from one book. The book's name is The Canterbury Puzzles and Other Curious Problems, and it is written by Henry Ernest Dudeny. Okay, now we have to understand that puzzle and curious problem. Long ago, there was an inn where pilgrims often stopped on their way to worship at a famous shrine. Long ago, there was an inn. Inn means what? Inn means what? Can you understand? Inn means in a dharmasala. We can call as a dharmasala. Where pilgrims means what? Pilgrims means traveler who travel as a holy traveler. Holy travels. जो तीर्थ स्थलों पर जाते हैं उसे पिलग्रिम्स बोलते हैं. Often stopped on their way to worship at famous shrines. During the long evening, as they rested from their journey, they would tell stories and sometimes amuse each other with games and puzzles. During their night staying, they telling story to each other or making games and puzzles with each other. At that rest time, during night time, whenever they stayed, they make a puzzle or story writing or story listening to each other. On one evening, the company all turned to the pardoner. One evening, they discussed about pardoner, the pardoner's puzzle. Here, pardoner's puzzle is given. We have to just understand about it. The gentle pardoner, who had just arrived very tired all the way from Rome, begged to be excused. The gentle pardoner, who had just arrived very tired all the way from Rome, begged to be excused. रोम से वो वापस आ रहे थे, but the company would not spare him. But उसके साथ कोई साथीदार नहीं था. Friends and fellow pilgrims said, उसके साथ जो साथीदार some friends और fellow pilgrims थे, said he, truly the puzzles I have made is a poor thing, but it is the best that I have been able to create. I create a puzzle, said the pardoner. Blame my lack of knowledge of such matters if you don't like it. If you don't like my puzzle, then blame on me. But his invention was very well received. Pardoner's invention was very received. He produced the accompanying plan. and said that it is symbolized 64 towns through which he had to pass. Here in your textbook 64 square is given. It is actually 64 towns. Think about that. It is just 64 towns through which he had to pass. Pardoner passed from that 64 cities. Here 64 dot is given here, 64 cities given, starting point also given. Now first of all we have to understand, then complete our puzzle. During some of his pilgrimage, he said the lines connecting the towns represent roads. Every box is connected with a line, it's a road. He explained that to solve the puzzle, one has to start from the large black town and visit all the other towns once, and once only. Started from black square, and we have to visit all the towns, 64 towns, only one time one town, okay, not a repeat any towns, in 15 straight pilgrimage, and we have to make only 15 straight line, only 15 line, not 16 or not 14, only 15 line we have to make, and we have to complete visited 64 cities. समझ में आया आपको कुछ? ये 64 सिटीज़ है, वो सबकी हमें विजिट करना है, बट वी हैव टू डू ओनली 15 लाइन्स. 15 लाइन्स करके हमें सब सिटी को, सब पिलग्रिमेज सिटी को कनेक्ट करना है, और एक सिटी दोबारा आना नहीं चाहिए, ओनली वन टाइम्स. दैट टाइप्स ऑफ वी हैव टू डू सॉल्व दैट पजल. कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड? In 15 straight pilgrimages, he said the puzzle was to trace the route in 15 straight lines with your pencil. He said you may end where you like, but not that a little road at the bottom has been omitted intentionally, and it is impossible to go that way. Okay? Don't left any box. We have to connect all 64 box with a 15 straight line only. Read the story carefully to understand the instruction for solving the Pardoner's puzzle. Work with a partner to understand the story and to solve the puzzle. Try to be the first in your class to solve it. If you finish quickly, go and help others to solve it too. So, here our activity number 4. But I completed answer here. Just see answer. You have to complete that Pardoner's puzzle with a 15 straight line. We have to start from here, and we have to make 15 straight lines, and we have to cover all 64 towns. So I started from here, then here, then go here, like that. That I visited like that. That side, that side, that side, that side, that side, that side, and I completed here, and is here. We started near city, and so I completed, count it, I completed only in a 15 straight line, and I don't left any city. I don't visited any city second time. I visited only one time. Okay, so complete that Pardoner's puzzle in your textbook. Students, answer key of activity first and second is given here. You have to complete it in your fair notebook. First of all, on new page, after completing unit first, give heading on new page unit number 2, exploring puzzles. Then activity number first, new words, and you have to complete activity first, new words in your fair notebook. Activity first, new words you have to complete in your fair notebook. After that, completing activity first new word, give heading activity number 2, and 2 answer I give to write you. First of all, write activity 2, then question, what did the courtiers assume? In our textbook we see that question, answer is given here. Second question, which lines in the story help you to know what the courtiers were thinking? Answer is given here. Both question and answer you have to complete in your fair notebook as a activity 2. Okay student, understand?
Thank you for joining us